they're doing a polls of a fictional country. So next year, in 2026, Davis will be holding its 2026 elections. The last election was very polarizing, as issues such as immigration, the economy, and crime were three major factors of Corey's re-election into Davis's the Dave. What would be the equivalent to the Davisan royal palace? Basically, Davis used to be a monarchy around 1958. Until 1958, they finally held their first democratic elections. And basically, there's two political. There was originally a conservative and a Democratic Party, but now a new political party, which is the National, which the Davisan Party, and of course the Democrat Party. That's which party has received a lot of criticism from the old guard of Davis, especially from certain northern states as well here. Also the demography as well here, including ethnic Davisan peoples, which make up around 80% of the electorate, and what to say, minorities, because we don't want to go over everything exactly, but minority turnout is expected to be much higher this time, around 20% of the population as well here, compared to the actual percentage of the population here, here, basically here. Davis, ever since 2000, since the rebels have opened the borders, basically to a massive amount of immigration due to the birth rate crisis in the country. But the swing states are the states that will determine the election. First one is the state of Ashley as well. So last election, Ashley was surprisingly close. The urban areas kept the state at least slightly tilting for the rebels as well. Ashley is basically kind of like the New Jersey of Davis, basically. That's basically the closest comparison. Here's the thing is, the electorate of the state is mostly older Davisians, which are now starting to vote en masse as well here. The thing is, most states' elderly Davisians typically vote on a very, very high level of, for the Nationalist Party. And almost every district trended for, which had a higher elderly population. For example, some of these suburban counties here are very elderly Davisian. They are high average age as well here. And some of the more rural counties have a very high average age as well here. The younger states typically have a much closer, much more favorable for the Democrats as well. More favorable, more blue. I think this is purple on this map, because the default for some reason is purple as well here. But I do think the Democrats will probably win this one. The next one is Mosan. This state right here, basically here. And all these states that are gray are states that are either over 5 for the Nationalist or the Democrat candidate as well, or states that usually underperform a specific candidate. So we have Mosan here, and Mosan was another very, very close state here. Yes, many of the rural districts are very conservative. Okay, especially this suburban district here as well. But the urban precincts are the things that are keeping the state basically close. Yeah, these urban precincts are huge votings for the Democrat Party. They really comprise of around 63 to 73% of the electorate as well, which means this is a very, very hard state to win. They have to just continue to run it up in the margins in some of these fringe rural districts as well. Again, some of these rural districts are becoming more and more urban as well, as this state kind of goes into this massive urban mess around here. Well, they are basically there's a massive urban mess throughout this entire area right here, and this entire area is trending for liberals as well here, with some districts still voting conservative as well here. But this entire state is becoming more and more urban as well. The state, however, the population of the state is not really increasing that much. Also, demography wise, it's around 88% electorate for Davisians. Unlike with unlike with um KTM down here, which is around 80% here as well. Yeah, but basically, this entire area is trending more liberal as well. But I think that Corey will narrowly win the state as well. Yeah, and yeah, he will win the state. Next are these two states right here, Odenia and Koretz. So the reason these states are trending conservative, at least the northern portions of the states are, but these states down here have a very the third party candidate. There's no third party candidate this election, but even then, these states will be very close, as the very conservative Davisan portions are very conservative. Like, and of course, the southern, more liberal portion of the states, as well. So these are kind of the last two close states in Davis. We're not counting Ataka here, or Ataka, whatever the state is called, as well here. But both of these states have very similar demographies, demographic makeups, as well here. There is a third party called the Sun Political Party. They usually get around 30% of the vote in these states, as well here. The Sun Party is basically turning this place more conservative, as they're basically, because the Sun and the Democrat Party basically fight against each other for votes as well here. The Sun Party last election made up around a astonishing 21% of the vote here, and the Sun Party in this state made up around 27% of the vote, and Corey won both as well. It really depends if the Sun Party wins or not. Currently, they are not running a single candidate this time, which means this entire area might slip back into Democrat control. As well, but even in the polls, they're saying that basically these two states will basically be Democrat as well. So, but they're saying that these states are going to be very much closer than they usually are as well. Next state here is Tariq. This is a very strange state here. So there's two urban areas here. One is a urban conglomerate stretching into these two states here, and one urban area in the center here. So there's a tiny little urban area here, and this is kind of these are kind of like suburban districts here. Like, this entire urban megawatt, is becoming more and more conservative as well. The only thing is the center part of the state. This entire area is trending liberal. Okay, this is keeping the state from being safe nationalist as well. All of these districts here are becoming more liberal. Even like these entire counties, like they vote on the line of many of these counties down here, many counties here, or many counties here, or many rural counties here. The rurals basically all vote very similarly to each other, but this entire urban megalopolis is keeping this entire metro area from kind of trending here. So yeah, this state will be conservative almost likely as well. But this entire metro area, which is growing faster than the rest of the state, is a ticking time bomb for the state as well. But I do think the state will vote conservative. Then we have the urban centers. Okay, so these states are kind of like the Rust Belt states. They have a lot of population, and these states are kind of the states that determine the election. So almost every time Corey has won all of these states here, all four of these states. But the thing is, he won them narrowly. Yes, he has basically drummed it up in the margins in the exurban and rural areas, but he doesn't really do too well in suburban districts as well. Where all these counties make up a vast majority of the population in these states. And yes, he can continue drumming up the margins in these states, but a lot of pundits are warning that he's kind of maxed out in these areas as well. Like he can't really grab much more votes out of these areas. And if these account areas trend blue by like 5 or 6 points, it's kind of game over. Okay, so first, I think we're gonna be going over Calisonic here. This is a state. The midterm elections look very promising for this as well. The nationalist incumbent senator, actually overperformed the expectations. I think this is the most likely. This and Maple Tree are the two most likely states Corey are gonna win, as well. Maple Tree is a liberal state that is trending towards conservatives as well here. Like, you know, liberals still kind of dominate the, populated regions of the state, but this state is still very, very, very close. Will be very close in the election. And we can pop them down on this map here. These states, I think, will still stay conservative. And even in the RCP, they have these states around 1.6 to 0.2 here. Meanwhile, in, like, for example, the states that are, like, over 10, they're not really counting them here. Then we have the last three. And I think all four of these states kind of vote together, but I think Taraz is trending far to the left. Okay, this state is basically very similar to Wisconsin. The Wolves, okay, all vote one way. Okay. We're gonna actually make these states actually blue here. Here. I think ICE, that's the state's name, will vote for the nationalists, but the Taraz is just going far left off a cliff. Another state that's going far left off a cliff is Monaca. So this state used to be one of the most reliably conservative states in the entire country. Okay. Last election, the state was basically +5 for the Nationalist Party. Corey is not very popular amongst many legacy conservatives as well here. Corey has basically made several huge states very, very much more conservative than than they used to be. Okay, but many, like, for example, this state, and of course these states right here. But you also got to realize Monaco is still very homogenous compared to the states we're about to talk about, and of course these four states are beneath them. But this entire southern area is trending very far to the left. Okay, I just don't think Corey can win this state. This entire area is trending far to the left, and this area is trending far to the left. He can, even if he drums up the margins and made these low districts, these districts are trending far to the left. And we can just look at the Senate election here, where it's again, the liberals kind of overperformed in many states, but Monaco was kind of a warning sign. I know liberals, and yes, the Democrat Party, it was +1. Okay, the +1 environment, which means this state is still, higher than the national average as well here. Same thing with some of the swing states. Like, this was that the Democrat one margin was 1.2 as well. Yeah, but the state still was 3 to 4 points better than the national average. But I think Corey has this one. I think South Tyrante, that's a blue state. That's basically a blue state at this point. Then we have the last three, and this state is still state conservative. Then we have the last two states, South Tyrantia and Akanak. Okay, or Akiak, whatever the state's called. Akiak, this is the same problem as Monaco. This entire area is training left off a cliff. This entire area up here is where most of the population lives. This is a very unpopulated state because of how far north it is. How, no one wants to live here, basically. But most of the entire state, this is becoming basically the third state in this metro area. And Democrats have won the first Senate seat in a while. Then we have South Tyrantia. This is the state that is, everybody says it's going to flip, but it isn't. But the state is becoming washed for the nationalists at this point. And there you go. That is the projections for the Davisan election. We'll wait to see next year what actually happens. Goodbye.